everybody, I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to VO Buzz Weekly, the web show all about the voiceover business.
That's right. And on today's show, we have the king of promos, Joe Cipriano. And let me just tell you, man, this guy is insane. He's a lot of fun, and he's going to teach you some unbelievable stuff. So stay tuned.
Yeah, and he is so busy that he literally sandwiched us in between sessions he has today. So
yes, he did. For you.
Yeah.
He didn't do that for us. He did it for you.
He was really excited to come, so we're really excited to talk to him.
Absolutely.
But before that, what do you want to do?
Well, you know what?
How's it going?
It's going great, man. How you doing?
I'm great.
Sweet. We love getting you guys sending us your emails and comments and you know, people that you'd like to see on the show. Although I can almost guarantee that anybody that you're thinking about who's anything is on our list, and we've already contacted them. So, like Stacey always says, it's not VO Buzz daily, it's VO Buzz weekly. So we're getting them out to you as quickly as we possibly can.
Yeah, so be patient, bear with us. We're getting them, we're making Sunday come as fast as we can.
We want it to come faster, even faster than you, but we know there's only one Sunday a week, so we're doing the best we can. We love your letters, man, and keep sending us in, and you guys, you know, great comments and questions and stuff like that. But I have a good one here, and that I want to read because I just thought it was really funny. And it says, this is for you.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, exactly. So it says, Stacey.
Yes, that's me.
You are very talented. You have a wonderful personality, the most enviable good looks. Oh, yeah, baby. A long and diverse resume. And the list goes on and on. Why hasn't Hollywood turned you into a huge megastar? Thanks for a great show, Sal.
Sal? I am a huge megastar.
She is. I tell her that all the time. Sal, what are you trying to do to me?
Oh, that's very sweet.
That is very sweet. Thank you for the nice note, Sal. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you know what? I think that it's all in how you define success. Because I get to audition every day. I get to work almost every day on camera or as a voiceover artist, and I feel really fortunate. So, you know, every day is getting bigger and bigger, so you just keep watching, Sal. I'm coming for you.
Heck yeah.
I didn't mean to be threatening.
No, not like that.
Yeah. Okay.
What else? What you got?
Hey, I've got one from Chet.
Chet. Hey, Chet. What's going on, brother?
He says, I'm learning so much from your shows. You guys are my favorites. I have to watch your show every week. Can't miss. Please keep going.
Right on.
Right?
That's great.
Keep going.
We're going to keep going.
Keep going. Oh, no. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we're going to keep going. Okay.
We're going to keep going. Okay. This comes from Mr. 96 Tears.
Mr. 96 Tears.
Yes, not 100, 96.
Yeah. That's one more tier than 95, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You're so smart. He says, VO Buzz Weekly is my new favorite show. That's including shows on television.
Wow.
Look at that. We are megastars, Sal.
That is pretty cool.
He says, seriously, I'm learning a lot about the VO business, which is cool because I aspire to do VOs full-time someday. Plus, it's entertaining. It's like a 2-for-1.
There you go.
The worst part about your show?
Oh.
It's that I have to wait a whole week for the next show.
Okay. Woo! Well, so do we.
I just have to be patient, though. Yes, you do. And, you know, patience can be hard sometimes. But
they can.
You hang in there with us, Mr. 96 Tears.
And you'll get places, I'm telling you right now.
That's right.
You know,
Thanks, you guys.
Absolutely, man. And on a serious note, I just want to say that if we weren't doing this show, we do this show for you guys, seriously. And if we weren't doing this show and I saw this show and I was out there and I was like in the trenches wanting to become, you know, a VO, just be working, man, and making my living and living my dream, and I saw this show, I would be like, holy Toledo. And that's exactly what we're trying to do, is trying to bring you information that you need to actually go out there and make things happen, okay? So stay tuned every week, because every week we're gonna have really good stuff for you. And on more serious notes, there's an event coming up. Actually, it's still going. It's going on right now. And it's the SAG Foundation Voiceover 2012. Our friend Joe Cipriano, who's going to be with us in 1 second here, is going to talk all about that. And all I can say about this event is that if you are serious about the VO business, you do not want to miss this thing. I don't care where you live. Take a plane, come over here.
This or at what stage you are in your career.
Absolutely.
Just entering, aspiring.
The chance of a lifetime for a voiceover actor. You don't need to be a SAG member or anything like that. You just need to show up and go online. The information will be on our screens and stuff, and find out where it's at and get yourself there. And now,
We got to go. Joe's got a session.
Joe's got a session.
We got to talk to him.
Yeah, we got to talk to him. Here he is, Joe Cipriano.
Okay, you guys, our guest today is a powerhouse in the world of television promos and radio. He is the signature voice of Fox TV comedies like The Simpsons and CBS TV comedies like Mike and Molly, Rules of Engagement, and 2.5 Men. He is also one of the co-founders of the Don LaFontaine Voiceover Lab here in Los Angeles, and he is an all-around amazing guy. And he is literally sandwiching us in between sessions today, so we are so grateful. He's here on VO Buzz Weekly. Welcome the amazing Joe Cipriano.
Wow.
Joe Cipriano.
Wow.
Welcome to VO Buzz Weekly, my friend.
Chuck. Thank you, Stacy. What a nice intro. Can I take you along with me so that wherever I go, you can give me a little intro like that?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Done.
Nice, yeah.
And that was a good intro, I gotta say.
It was a darn good one.
Thank you. I wrote it myself with
wrote
you
it
in
yourself.
mind.
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
Well, thanks for having me. I love it. I love this set. I
Thank
love
you,
the
man.
fuzzy.
You know what,
I
man?
just
you
love
gotta
it.
bring a little fuzzy into your life, you know?
I love it. And the fact that it's in your home, I think is just amazing.
Right?
And
yeah, exactly.
The bed is
There's
right
our
over
bed
there.
right there. Yeah.
The bar is over there.
There's the bar.
I'm boiling up some pasta in the kitchen.
Absolutely. Hey, give me another ice cube over there. That's funny. Listen, man, I want to tell you that, first of all, we know, we just learned a little bit about Joe today, and that's that he is unbelievably busy.
Yes.
And so I want to thank you for taking the time out of your incredibly busy schedule to come over here and party with us on VO Buzz Week.
It is a party. It is
Cool,
definitely a party. Now, I'm happy to be here. And you caught me on a pretty good day.
Awesome.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Sweet,
Yeah.
man. Well, listen, I'm going to start right off by asking you a question, and I'm sure that a lot of people out there would like to know this. How did you get started in the VO biz?
Well, I mean, it goes way back to getting into radio, and I was just a kid, and I knew early on. I mean, I knew like when I was.
He was 6.
Close.
Those of you that don't
10.
know.
I was,
He was 10.
11. That I wanted to do something in television, whether it would be on a sitcom or like the host of a show. I grew up in Connecticut. We used to see shows like Wonderama out of New York, the Sandy Becker Show. I used to love all those live broadcast shows, Soupy Sales. And so I figured, all right, the only way I'm going to get into broadcasting or get into television is I guess I have to start in radio because, that's how they did it way back when. And there was no chance of me getting into television in Waterbury, Connecticut. There were radio stations, so I started calling this DJ at our local radio station to tell him that I was interested in getting into broadcasting because I figured that would bring me into television eventually.
Right.
So long story short, 13 years old, hanging around the radio station, just being a gopher, and I'll go get you lunch, go get you some apples, whatever. Go for this, go for that. And eventually they hired me at 16, and then my broadcast career moved forward, and I moved to Washington, D.C., working for NBC, and I met my wife, Ann, there. We were both working at NBC.
Hi, Ann.
Hey, Ann.
Oh, that's sweet.
Hi, Annie. And so I then started to become aware of promos and working at NBC and hearing people like Casey Kasem, who was doing the promos for NBC, and Danny Dark, who became a very close friend and mentor of mine. And I thought, wow, I would love to do that. I don't have the voice for that because they were all that big, deep voice,
Right.
Except for Casey. Casey was more
Yeah,
of a,
he was up in the
but you had to,
range,
your Ernie Andersons and Danny. And all of those guys, Chuck Riley. And I just started kind of pursuing that. And while I was in radio, I just started sending out, we would get tapes in at the radio station with the commercials. Part of our job, besides being on the air, is you would cart up the commercials that come in and maybe you'd read a tag on it. I started collecting every box that came in from advertising agencies and studios on the East Coast. I would write down their address, and then I would take my made-up demo, my voiceover demo, and I would send it to that address and try to get work.
I thought you were going to say
Very
that you would
resourceful.
take all the commercials and replace all the voices with yours.
I would do that from time to time as well.
You had campaigns before you had
Because
campaigns.
I'm going to say, that's pretty sneaky. That's pretty cool right there.
I like
That's one way to get into the biz.
Yeah. And you know,
but that's very resourceful.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
it was a
that's-
big deal for me when I finally had a demo, because it was all made up spots. When I finally had a demo that actually had spots that I was paid to do, you know, and you know all about demos.
Absolutely.
And gosh, you would be so sad for me if you were to hear my demo.
Do you still have it? Or a version of it?
I don't think
It's locked
so.
up in a vault.
It's not on your website
That's
right now?
It's
No.
not on my website,
Darn
no.
it.
And it was in reel-to-reel days.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know,
I love
You can't put a reel on a website anymore.
Right. So that got me into voiceover. And then the big break came later when I moved to Los Angeles. You know.
Did you get any feedback from those
I
agencies
did.
that you mailed to?
I did. I actually got a few gigs off of it. And I was in AFTRA and SAG back in Washington because I was working for NBC.
Right.
So I was able to work those gigs. And actually the Washington-Baltimore area has a very active commercial production kind of community.
Right.
And I did pretty well there. I was on the air. I was doing some voiceover, mostly local, regional. And you couldn't do any nationals from Washington. The best you could do is maybe get a public service announcement, you know, that the Department of Energy would do, and that would be your big break. And I was like, all right, I know I've got to be in New York or Los Angeles. At that time, no such thing as ISDN. You couldn't phone it in. You had to be there.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I made a decision. We're going to move either to New York or Los Angeles. And we took a trip for 10 days. 5 days in New York City and 5 days out here in Los Angeles. And it was like, it was, you know.
It's easy, right?
We're going to L.A. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Mostly
Yeah.
we did it so I was
Yeah.
trying to talk her into going to L.A.
Yeah. Moral of the story, he took charge.
Yes.
He took charge. He said, you know what, this is what I want to do. If I need to contact people, I'm going to do it. I'm going to send them my demo.
Create
and
your
even though
opportunities.
today he says, it wasn't the greatest demo, but he got out there and he made things happen, man.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
that's
And you
really
know,
good.
and when you decide, if you are going to decide to move to a city, I believe 100% that you just don't go to a city without a job, and that actually is what stopped or slowed us down in coming to Los Angeles. I wanted to have a job before coming out here because I didn't want to be a starving actor,
Yeah.
and you know, have that desperation that I have to get this gig.
Yep.
I've said this a lot of times before, and it's, you know, it's descriptive, but if you're desperate and you go to an audition, they can smell it on you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that
Yes.
stench of desperation is not
not
attractive.
good, no.
You know? So I always tell people that are thinking about moving to another city to pursue voiceover or whatever, is to establish yourself first. You know, get a gig, get a day gig, and you're going to be so much happier, and your life is going to be so much better, better quality of life. And then once you have that, whatever you're working, if you're working 8 hours a day or on the radio 5 hours a day, listen, you got another 18 hours a day to get a little sleep in and pursue your dreams.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Have you been with SBV your entire career?
No, I've been with them a long time, though.
Yeah.
I signed with them probably around 1990, 91.
Okay.
I was with the Tischerman Agency before that, and I was with William Morris Agency before that.
Okay.
And then when I first came to LA, I kind of bounced around to a couple of different places, just trying to find an agent.
Yeah.
I went about the same kind of idea that I did in Washington. I was working in radio here. The tapes were coming in from the ad agencies and the agents and, you know, all of that. I did the same thing. I sent out my tapes to them, and I'd be on the air at night. I was doing 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on a station called K-Hits here in LA, and during the songs I'd be typing up cover letters, and over in the production studio making copies of my demos, and I mean, it was a whole thing. You know?
But we were saying that
Yeah.
our birthdays we're both September Virgos. I mean, this is like, you're like reading my journal right now. I mean, I love it. It's like you get in there and do it.
You know what? I'll
You
just
don't
leave
wait
you two alone right now.
No, but I
I like
so
what you said, though. Chuck
appreciate
is our Virgo sandwich,
It
right?
I
is.
am the Virgo sandwich, right?
The
Yeah.
little Cuban
Yeah.
Pisces in the
Hey.
middle. Yeah. No, but I think that's so important for somebody watching, you know, whether they're in the voiceover business, breaking in, or in anything else, that opportunities come, but sometimes you have to pave it, and you've got to make your own path.
You really do. And there is something, I took acting lessons, you know, back on the East Coast and here. But here with my buddy Stoney Richards, who's also in broadcasting, we were taking acting lessons, and the teacher had told us this story about that stick-to-itiveness of it, and you know, committing 100% to a goal and going for it. He said, and I love this, there are the gods of making dreams come true up there, and all the reason for being up there is to help you. They want you to have your dreams come true. And you're wearing this little hat, and every time that you're working on your voiceover career, there's a little red light that's on. And if you, when you're working on it, the light is red, they can see it through the clouds, they can help guide you along the way. But if, you know, people in, you know, January, you go, I'm going to really go after the voiceover thing. The light goes on, and it's kind of on, but then it's like, oh, they get pulled away doing other things. And then it's hard for the, you know, those folks up there to find you.
That's true.
So
It
you
starts
have
to
to
dim
keep,
by March. Yeah.
exactly.
Especially with
Yeah.
the people who actually weigh the two things. Like say, okay, should I really go full force with my voiceover career, or join the gym and lose weight?
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, you can do both.
Right, that's true.
So I read that you said about your dear friend Don LaFontaine, who sadly passed away in 2008, but
2008, yeah.
his presence is still felt so strongly. But I read that you called him the Jack Nicholson of promo.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Because he is the center of the universe in voiceover. Really what that came from is I had this idea. Every summer I like to come up with a project. Things in promo start to slow down, and I like to stay busy, as you probably, you know, have guessed by now.
Yes.
So I come up with a...
We learned that the hard way today. No.
I come up
wait,
with a
Joe. Take your time. Take another call.
Wah, wah.
Can we shoot 2 hours early? Okay.
I have 78 sessions after this. Okay. But anyway.
I had this idea. It's one summer. I actually was walking on in Beverly Hills. I was on, I think, Beverly Drive. I was meeting my wife and some friends for dinner, and I had gotten there early. And I'm walking, and in a storefront, there was a picture of Esquire magazine. And it was the men of Hollywood, Brad Pitt and George Clooney and Jack Nicholson. And they're all lined up kind of like we are, you know, and somebody would be up here and over here.
Yeah.
And I thought, whoa, wouldn't that be an awesome picture of all the voiceover guys and gals, you know, but at the time, this was, you know, like about almost 10 years ago, and there weren't, you know, women, unfortunately, in promo. Wouldn't it be cool to do a men of promo or voiceover network promo? And I could envision it. I was like, whoa, and in the Jack Nicholson chair, it's got to be Don. And I went home. We had dinner that night. On Sunday, I called Don because I wasn't even going to call anybody else. I wasn't going to call George DeLoio or Townsend Coleman or Reno Romano or Ashton Smith or any of those guys until I called Don. Because if Don said yes, he is the Jack Nicholson. Everybody goes to Jack. When Jack would be on the Golden Globes,
Everyone else would
everybody wanted to see Jack.
Is Jack going?
I'll be there. So I called Don. He goes, hell yeah, I want to do that. That's good. So then I just started calling.
He sounded just like
I started calling everybody, and they were like, and I said, oh, and Don is. I sent the picture. I sent, oh, and Don's sitting in the Jack Nicholson chair, and then it was like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that was cool. So he was the magnet. He was the flame.
That's really
he
cool.
attracted everybody in our business.
Yeah.
You know.
Is that picture available for people
Yes,
to see?
it is.
Where can they check that out?
It's actually online at primetimevoices.com.
Okay.
It's voices plural. primetimevoices.com.
Okay,
Excellent.
good. Yeah,
In
we'll
fact,
put that up.
here it is, right here.
Boom. I love that. That's good. That's good.
You co-founded with Paul Pape, George Whittam, the Don LaFontaine Voiceover Lab here in LA at the SAD Foundation. What inspired you to do that, and what is the purpose, the mission behind that?
Well, we were all we just couldn't believe that Don was gone. And, you know, it happened when I knew that Don was sick. I had seen Don 2 weeks before he had passed away. we were actually working on a little business deal that Don wanted to get into, and it was part of passing on, you know, the legacy and encouraging people to come into the business and make it easier for them. And we were going to work on this together. He had gotten his lawyers working on the agreement, and he called them the shysters. I got the shysters working on it. Okay. So I had gone to see him. Ann and I had gone, and we saw him and Nita, and he was doing pretty well. You know, he had been struggling, but we were back east, and he had passed away, and it was just such an unbelievable loss. And after the memorial, which Paul Pape had produced, Paul called me about a couple of months later and said, you know, we got to do something to honor Don. And I said, I am in, you know, whatever it is. He gave us so much. And we came up with a few different ideas. We thought about a book. We thought about, a number of things. And Paul then, it was Paul Pape who said, you know, maybe we can build a studio and make it a lab, you know, where people can go and just try it, you know, experiment and learn the craft. But we'll also bring in the best of the business to teach, and it'll be all free. And it was like, and then we were just like piling on top of one another, you know, with seminars and it'll be state of the art, and, you know, we'll get the best microphones. And so we called a few different places to try to find space, and it wasn't going so well. Finally, Paul said, you know, I know the executive director of the Screen Actors Guild Foundation. And so we went over and met, and they said, yes, we love it. They happened to have some open space on their floor, which was, they didn't own, they didn't rent it, but it was available. It was perfect space. We looked at it. And she said, if you can bring in $10,000 to get it going, we'll start to fund it and get it going. And then, of course, we'll have to continue fundraisers and things like that. I started immediately.
And of course, Joe said, wait a minute. I think I got some
That
change
is so
in my
tacky,
pocket.
Chuck Duran.
No, I'm just
but
kidding.
it's
I'm
true.
I started calling Don's buddies that do promo, George DeLoyo and oh God, I mean, you just go down the line of everybody, Scott Rummel and everybody that's on our advisory board. And I said, you know, here's what we're doing. I need $5,000 to get this going. And it was yes, 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 yes. And by the time that was Saturday,
that's a lot of fives to add up.
By the time Sunday came around, I sent an email to them and said, well, looks like we got $60,000. So that's how it all started. And then so many people wanted to get involved. Again, Don is, you know, he's the flame. Everybody is attracted to that, and to have that opportunity to honor Don and to be involved with this opportunity to give back to the community and give people that want to get into voiceover kind of like a leg up. You know, here's the hand. We're going to pull you up. We'll give you all the tools that you could ever want. And now it's up to you. You have to make good use of this, but it's there.
But you're getting them started in the right direction.
That's fantastic.
Which is wonderful.
And we try to take the high road, you know, and teach them like Don's way. Don used to take people along for rides in his limo.
Right.
You know about that. This is, we said, this is like going for a ride in Don's limo. When you come to the Don LaFontaine Voiceover Lab, it's just like getting in the limo. You know?
That's awesome,
man. And I'm sure he is watching over it, and it's wonderful. And just to button that, you were the recipient of the Don LaFontaine Legacy Award, which I think, I mean, you have so many qualities that he embodied, which it just seems like a wonderful way.
Oh, well, thank you. That was the mind blower.
What does that mean to you? What was that?
Oh, it was
like
incredible. You know, they had instituted the award after Don had passed and had given it to Don posthumously, and then it had come around to the first year that they were going to award this, and you know, they asked if I would be on the committee, and I was working on the lab at the time, and I said, geez, I really don't have the time to do that. We really want to get the lab up and running. And so they had moved on, and you know, there were a number of people that could have been chosen for that, and I got a phone call from the people at Promax, and this amazing board of folks, you know, had chosen me to get this award, and I was like stunned. I was like, what? What's that? Me? So it was, yeah, it was an amazing honor.
I think it's well deserved.
Really cool,
and to accept that and have a little speech at Promax here in Los Angeles was really cool.
They must have been amazing.
It was. It was really,
that's
great.
You know.
And Nita presented it.
Yeah, and there's a clip of that on
His
your
wife.
website. So go to joecipriano.com and watch
That's
it. It's really
cool.
special.
Okay, so I know this is big deal right here. Tune in. Okay, get your popcorn out, sit down, relax. SAG Foundation Voiceover Summit 2012.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
It's the Don LaFontaine Voiceover Summit, and we've already done the first one, which was promos and trailers. Scott Rummel, our buddy Scott, was our moderator. He had a stellar panel, Ben Patrick Johnson and Jim Tasker and Mike McCall. We had Brad Rowe, who's a producer over at CBS. It was a great session. And what the summit is it's another way that we continue to raise money for the lab so that we can do all of the free programming that we do there. It's 8 weeks. It's broken up into 2 sessions, session A and session B. If you buy a session, it comes out to maybe about $37 per night, which ain't bad. If you buy both sessions, I think it goes down to under $30 a night. And we're bringing in the best of the best, all different genres of voiceover will be touched upon over the 8 weeks. And Jack is, thank goodness. Yes.
They'll let anybody on
March 20th on a really cool panel.
Very cool panel.
With some awesome folks. And we're going to be talking about demos. We're going to be talking about marketing. We're going to be talking about getting an agent and submitting. And
you're going to love it.
I'm going to love it.
It's. I know you've done stuff like this before, but it's intimate. There's probably about 90 to 100 people that are there. We encourage afterwards. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. Afterwards, everybody kind of comes up to the stage. They get to ask maybe a few more questions or just get to talk to you.
Autographs or anything?
Autographs. Yes. Please, no autographs.
Paparazzi.
No, stand
Might
away.
have to bring some Rock Sugar CDs. You know, you never
There it is.
know.
Exactly. And then we have the lab open as well, and folks kind of go over to the lab and hang out there. But it's a real nice atmosphere because you know, there's a lot of give and take, and we take a lot of questions from the audience. And again, it's an intimate sort of setting. And I think you're going to love it.
We have a link on our website, but let's have the address, the web address.
You can go, well, you know, actually, you can either go to sagfoundation.org. You can go to the Don LaFontaine Facebook page. Look that. If you're not if you haven't liked the Facebook page, please do so. We have, I think, a few thousand folks, might be close to 3,000-4,000 people that like the page. And you can find out all of the information there. You can select what session you'd like to purchase. And I think they have a deal on right now. If you buy both sessions, you get 20% off. I mean, it's so worth it. And we have VIP seating. There are a couple of seats left in VIP. If you buy that, you also get to, on the 9th week, we're having a party reception with all of the panelists from all 8 weeks, all of the moderators, folks from the lab and the advisory board, all the folks that are on the advisory board. And it's just kind of a get-together.
That sounds like a blast.
Well, and just having...
You know what? I think I'm going to go.
You are contracted to go, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
But I mean, that kind of intimate setting and getting from the experts in all the different areas, I mean, that's one of a kind, once-in-a-lifetime kind of information.
It is. And it's this is the second time we've done a summit, and we've brought in new people on the panels and for moderators as well, because we wanted to keep it moving and change it up, and so you're not getting the same information.
So and maybe you just said this.
You were thinking about the party.
I'm thinking about the party, and do they have an open bar or anything like that? Which probably not, but. So
I'm sure there'll be something.
So this is
at the clubhouse.
This is a situation where anybody who's out there, who's either in the business or really thinking of like going full ahead and making this thing happen, to be up close and personal with, I call you guys superstars at voiceover because you are.
Well,
I mean, these are the guys that are out there you hear every single day making it happen, and basically being able to shake hands with them and ask them anything that you want.
Any question, yeah. I mean, to really pick their brains, sort of. And the opportunity to meet somebody like you who, obviously makes the best demos in the world, to have that opportunity.
Did you hear that, America?
Best demos in the world!
It's true, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, but what an opportunity to get to know you, and it's
that's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
Well, and for people who are in the business who need a little, a little kickstart, it's a way to kind of get rejuvenated and maybe focus in a different direction.
Exactly, and the SAG Foundation, is committed to helping actors in all aspects. I mean, we're not in the lab when we're doing this. We're in the Actors Center, which holds 100 folks, and they do some amazing programs. They're all free, and by the way, it's it's separate from Screen Actors Guild, so you don't get any of the politics or anything like that. It is a separate entity, and it is there solely to enrich the lives and the careers of actors.
So you don't have to be a SAG member to go.
You don't have to be a SAG member or an AFTRA member to go to this
summit.
There you go.
Yeah. You have zero excuse.
No, exactly.
We'll see you there.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today, everybody. Be sure and tune in next week for part 2 of the Joe Cipriano interview, where we're going to crash his clubhouse studio. And I'm telling you, this is where he creates all his magic. It's going to be freaking crazy. You don't want to miss it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at VO Buzz Weekly. You guys take care out there, and just remember, you always have time for a little buzz.